What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the side hustle series where I do side hustles and show you exactly how much money you can make by doing them as well.
It costs money to eat, and they don't want you to eat.
Today we're going to be driving Uber, and I'm going to show you exactly how much I made driving Uber, but I'll also do the math for you guys to show you guys exactly how much you can make if you wanted to do this as a full-time job as well. We're going to go ahead and clock into the Uber app, and let's get this bread. Doot. Do you think I was gonna forget this? So I'm on my way to the first pickup. It's around 12 minutes away and we have about 5 miles to get there. I'll just update you once I do this pickup and drop off. Let's go. Just finished this one. This one's 4 minutes away, so we're gonna go ahead and take it. And her name is Lauren. Trip number 2, let's go. Okay, just finished trip number 3. We're still downtown, so we're on good pace. It's 5:48, so it's been almost exactly an hour at this point. And we are looking for our 4th trip. Hopefully it stays downtown, we'll see. We're maybe about 10 miles away from the busiest part of Salt Lake City, so hopefully we still get a trip soon. And hopefully they're all close by because we're downtown on a Sunday. So anyway, let's jump into the next trip. I'll fill you in on maybe our next pit stop. Let's do it. It is 6:12, so I'm hoping to have another couple of really close trips. This one was around like 20 minutes, so not horrible from pickup to drop off. Now we're just sitting kind of in a downtown-ish area, but hopefully we're still in a busy enough area that we get a couple more trips very quickly. I do hate the in-between time. I noticed that I'm sitting around a lot, maybe like 5 to maybe 11 minutes in between trips, even though we're in a busy area. It's kind of surprising to me, but again, I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't know how they prioritize trips. Oh, there we have a trip. We're gonna go ahead and click accept. It's 1.3 miles away, 5 minutes away, and we got a guest named Patrick. So here we go. This time I probably sat around only maybe 5-6 minutes. So let's go ahead and pick up our next trip. Let's go. Okay, so I did my 5th trip, and now we've been pretty much sitting here in a parking area for, I want to say, like 20 minutes. We're actually in what's called East Mill Creek, which is about 20 minutes from downtown. So we're not quite in a busy area anymore. And I'm not sure if it's worth going to downtown and maybe just hoping that there's, you know, something around there. In the meantime, I might just go over and do a quick potty break. Let's hopefully get some freaking trips, man. I really need some trips. Look at this. Look at this. We're just sitting there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just chilling. Finding trips. You're online. Maybe we can make a TikTok, you know? Maybe there's a productive way to spend this time. I don't know. But anyway.
A few moments later.
I'm just sitting here waiting for a ride. If we don't see one, I'm just gonna start heading downtown. Oh, perfect. As soon as I said something, we got a booking. 6 minutes away. Maureen. Let's go, I guess. Okay, so while I'm editing the video, I realized that I didn't actually record in between trips 6, 7, and 8 and jumped straight into trip number 9 just because everything was really close together and I didn't really have time in between those trips, but I'll include them on the screen for you guys right here. So trip number 6, trip number 7 was this, and trip number 8 was this. And so without any further ado, let's jump right back into the video. I wanted to update you guys because I'm finally on my 9th trip. The 9th trip, unfortunately, is all the way up a canyon. So we're driving up there now, and it's like, just to pick up is like 20 minutes, right? And I'm wondering how much we're gonna make on this one. This will be a really fun one to see because yeah, 20 minutes up, and then I'm assuming, unless they're going to a restaurant up here, there is a restaurant up here, but I think there's a shuttle that takes you there. So I'm assuming that they're not for that. They're actually coming down the mountain. Luckily, I still have enough miles to get up here and get down. Long story short, excited to be done. I'll let you guys know once I get done with this one, and I might, if there's time, film in between this trip and next trip, but if not, I guess you'll just have to see me when I'm done and driving home.
One eternity later.
Man, oh man, am I tired. Okay, I just finished my 10th trip. Yeah, the 9th trip was brutal. Ended up taking me from one resort clear across the valley to another resort. I pretty much have another 50 minutes because of all that to drive back home. So, and obviously I'm not getting paid for that, right? Lastly, I'm gonna share with you my earnings. So let's go back to the studio. If you haven't already smashed the like button, please do, because this took a lot of effort for my part to put together. But let's go back home and I'll show you guys the totals. Okay, we're back in the office. It's the very next day, and now we're ready to count up the totals on how much we've made, how much we had to pay in order to make this amount, and also how much we made from tips and bonuses as well. By the end, I'll also share with you guys exactly how much you would make if you did this part-time or if you did this full-time, and I'll also take into account gas or electricity costs depending on what type of vehicle you have. Now first, we're gonna talk about the earnings, and the total earnings that we had made was exactly $235.22. The way we can break this down is $99.22 of that was the actual base fare. That's how much we made before tip or any kind of bonuses. Then we have our promotions, which is $110 in bonuses for the amount of trips that we did in that time slot. And then how can we forget the tip amount, which was $26 even. Now for me, I drive an electric car and I'm not charging at a supercharger most of the time. If I were to do this full time, I probably would. And the supercharger costs around $25. It can vary, but that's for a full tank of electricity. And for a gas powered car, accounting for 16 gallons per tank at around $4.50, that's around $72 per full tank. And if we were to take away the bonuses that I made, I grossed $125.22. So if we were to deduct the gas or the electricity costs from the total, this is what we would get, and I'll show you the per hour as well. Essentially, not accounting for bonuses, you would make about $53.22 on a gas powered car with that mileage and that cost per gallon. And that equates to around $10.64 per hour. Now on my electric car, if I were to go to a supercharger and charge for $25, I would have made $100.22, again before bonuses on both of these, but that would mean I made $20.04 per hour. Now, of course, the mileage between trips can vary pretty significantly, so take all this with a grain of salt, but that was my average. And remember that this is all taxable income. Now, of course, the deductions that you get from maybe operating expenses, getting water, snacks for people, insurances, car washes, any type of expense could be deducted with the right CPA and depending on how you set up your business. Now, let's take all this into account and calculate exactly how much you could make by supplementing your income, whether working 10 hours per week, 20 hours per week, or if you wanted to make this a full-time job, how much you would make working 40 hours per week. So here are the gas and electric powered examples for each amount worked. Here is the 10 hour for the gas. Here's the 10 hour for the electric. Then we have 20 hours for gas, 20 hours for electric, 40 hours for gas, and 40 hours for electric powered vehicles. But this also doesn't include any bonuses, and there are bonuses that come in on the Uber app almost every single day, if not every day, depending on what times you drive and if you're able to meet that criteria. And some are greater than others, but in this next example, I will include the bonuses so that way you have a better idea of what you'll most likely make based off of these bonuses as well. So here you have the 10 hour for gas, 10 hour for electric, 20 hour for gas, 20 hour for electric, and 40 hours for gas and 40 hours for electric. Now, after driving Uber for a little while, I did want to share with you some of my favorite tips in order for optimizing your actual income earned and getting more sweet, juicy tips. So here are some pointers. Again, I'm not an expert by any means, and if you are an Uber driver and there's something that I missed, let me know down in the comments, but this is what I've learned so far. First and foremost, make sure to drive on promotional periods. These are the bonuses that I'm talking about because these can earn you anywhere between $15 and almost $30 extra per hour. It completely varies on the trip lengths and if you're able to meet the criteria in the allotted time slots, and these will make a huge difference in how much you actually make at the end of each day. And tip number 2 is to drive in the busiest part of your area, whether that's a town, a city, or by the airport. Wherever there's a lot of foot traffic, that's where you want to go. And tip number 3 is to drive during peak hours. Now, of course, there are other promotional periods which will kind of give you an idea of when peak hours are, but that's not always a perfect telltale sign of when those peak hours will happen. Think about when people get off work, when people go to work, and also when people go to dinner or come back from dinner, and that should give you a good estimate of when those peak hours are. Now, tip number 4 is if you are hungry enough that day or that week or that month, the 4th tip is to actually drive until you're tired. Now, a lot of people are gonna go and drive for the promotional periods. That's great, but if you're like, wow, I made some money and there's another promotional period, but I just don't know, keep going, because sometimes that extra little push is gonna be the big difference maker between you making minimum wage and actually making a decent profit. So if you're this close to reaching that next milestone, might as well go out and hit it. Now, of course, if you're extremely tired, don't drive, right? You don't need to be putting other people's lives at risk for a small paycheck. So make sure to always stay safe. But if you have the energy and maybe you're just lacking motivation, remember that the more you drive, the more you earn. Tip number 5, the greatest tip that you'll ever get for Uber, and that is to offer services outside of Uber, meaning you can give people water bottles, you can offer chargers, you can give people access to the heater or the cooling system, you can ask them what kind of music they want to listen to on their ride, and lastly, you should be helping people either load or unload their car when possible. Especially if you're going to the airport, I think it's very, very professional if you get out of the car to help people with their bags when you think that they might need it. All of these things will increase your earnings, even though that there's an upfront cost, for example, for water bottles or chargers or things like that. Now, I want to know if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to answer if I didn't answer them in this video. And also, if you want to see me do a specific side hustle that maybe you're thinking about trying and you want me to do the dirty work, make sure to leave that down in the comment section as well. And I hope to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button because this video did take a lot of time to put together. And also don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time to the channel. So without any further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.